Yo, what up, though, man? Mr. E in the building, man. A producer, movie producer, what you call it? Producer, executive, extraordinaire?
Man, right now, it's just sticking with Mr. E.
Mr. E, just Mr. E. That covers everything.
Yeah, director every now and then, but Mr. E.
I got you, man. Mr. E, man, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm cool, man. Cool and groovy like drive-in movie.
Hey, man, I feel it, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, this me right now. I've been hitting the ground lately, getting my Dallas hip-hop or just the whole background of the hip-hop industry in Dallas has been crazy, man. Like, are you Dallas born and raised?
Dallas born and raised.
Man, like, growing up here in Dallas, man, like, what's some of the groups here when it come to hip-hop, man, that, like, really inspired you?
Most of the groups that inspired me is the groups that I kind of came up around. And we was kind of doing the music together, so... Of course, I had to give it to Pookie and Lucci and Gator, Rally Boys, Cotton and Jizz knowing them, and Dallas Most Dangerous and Nemesis, Snake and them. Man, it's Pimpster, man. That list go on.
You know what? And a lot of those names, honestly, being around the music in Dallas for a little bit, like the Pimpsters and the Gator Man and
Gator Man,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. Those never came on my radar until I start doing the interviews, and then those names start popping up a lot. Like I did Al Jabbar, son of one of the members in Nemesis. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
It was dope, man. So like, the world has changed a lot, man. How has COVID slowed you down, or has it been a pandemic for you, as some people may say?
Pandemic. You know what? I did double up and double downs, a little bit in the pandemic. The bag got a little bit better for me in the pandemic. I ain't gonna lie about that. But what it really did is it bought me time to really work on the script.
Got you.
Like work on the script and work on just like the pre-production part of the movie. So it was cool for me.
Okay, so like let's talk about the movie and then we'll get to the journey to where you got to. I kind of like want to start where we are now, because like right now you're working on a film that's coming out soon.
Right.
And tell everybody about that film.
Okay, it's called the Triple D Revenge, and it's actually a sequel. It's part 2 of a movie that I came out with me and Juan Salas about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
Called the Triple D Movie. So that's kind of the way it started. And basically it picks up where the last one left off, and I don't want to make a spoiler alert. I don't want to spoil it for people that ain't seen the first one. But the bottom line is it's about a dude that's born and raised in the streets. He goes to a funeral and encounters the news that his cousin was murdered by a notorious drug lord.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so once he makes his discovery, now he's got to try to figure out how to get close to try to get justice. And not only does he have a journey where he's trying to get close to the drug lord, but he also got to figure out if it's really worth it, if it's worth revenge. And well, if it's worth him getting revenge or if it's worth him just leaving it to justice.
I know a lot of people excited. I remember when for Triple D Revenge, when the flyer kind of dropped and everyone saw the actors on there, Mo3 on there, rest in peace.
May rest in peace.
Tell me the casting process when it comes to Triple D Revenge. Like, how do you choose who makes, your movies?
When we did the first Triple D movie, I did mostly rappers, and I wanted to do something different.
Okay.
So, man, I just really got tuned into the characters that was part of the movie, and then I started to seek out actors. I had Mo3. He was the one premier artist that was in the movie, because I kind of wanted to keep it still all the way Triple D,
Gotcha.
But for the most part, I reached out to some actors personally, and then we also did like a casting call in Dallas and Fort Worth, and it was a pretty cool little journey.
I got you. Talking about Mo3, like, what was your relationship like with Mo3, and what type of impression did he leave on you?
The relationship I had with Mo3 in the beginning was through Rainwater, because Rainwater brought Mo3 to me some years back during like the Triple D movie days.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Rainwater, by the way. And so I reached out to Mo3 after we did the first Triple D movie. I was like, yo, I want you part of the second one. And this is before all the big records and all that. And he was like, shit, I'm with it. He was already developing a buzz, but he wasn't nearly as big as he is now.
Gotcha.
So he was like, yeah, man, he was like, I'll do it. So I reached out to him about a year later, and I just knew that wasn't gonna work. Cause by then he had already, he built a lot of momentum as an artist, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, he gonna be too busy. And he really surprised me because I have a rule where, especially like my main actors, supporting role, all that, you have to know how to act.
Gotcha.
Because Hollywood won't respect it otherwise. So the bottom line is, I knew that Mo3 wasn't an actor, but me and my associate director, Jamal, shout out to him, we really worked on his acting ability, and that journey was pretty good too.
So when you say he worked on his acting abilities, when he first tried to do the lines, like what were some things that Key's like, hey, okay, let's coach him up?
Well, to be honest with you, acting is a very acute skill set to begin with.
Okay.
So I can't say that I expected a whole lot, but what I saw in 3 was potential, which he had a lot of. So I had no doubt about it that he was gonna bust it wide open. And he did his thing, but of course, when he's first starting, he got bad habits and he got this depiction of how people think acting should be. So what we have to do is reprogram him and start teaching him how to approach the role, how to approach the character, how to approach the script and all that. And overall, man, he did excellent. I was happy about it.
So, cause I might one day debut in some acting. So, when I get in shape, man. But
right on.
What are some of those mistakes, common mistakes that people who never acted before that get a chance that they make, that they have to unlearn?
That's a good question, man. Black people especially, a lot of times we had a tendency to be super dramatic, right? Be super dramatic to try to sell that we can act and all that type of stuff. And that's one of the first mistakes, because it's not about being dramatic. It's just about making it authentic and really understanding what the tendencies of your character and what your character would do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the acting world, so you go through your casting and you go through, I know earlier you were talking about like the kind of the pre-production phase.
Right.
Like in the script writing phase, like kind of how does that part of movie going? That part of the movie process.
Obviously, writing a story is probably the biggest piece. The story is your product. At the end of the day, the story is your dope. You know what I'm saying? And just developing your characters. Usually if you watch a film and you lose interest within the first 15 minutes, most of the time it's because it's not even that it's not a good story, it's your characters ain't really developed well.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you pour a lot of love into the tendencies and the habits of your character. Your characters, you build the story, and that's a big part of your pre-production. Once you do that, you do your casting. And then once you do your casting, depending on what kind of budget you got or whatever, you go get your crew, the people that's supposed to help with the production, and then you put a schedule, a calendar together.
Okay.
Okay. You give the cast time to really get into the script, memorize their lines, sink into their character. You do a couple of table reads. Some directors do walkthroughs, some directors do rehearsals, just depending on what the story entails. And pretty much after that, you shoot.
Have you ever had a bad table read?
No, simply because a table read is just actually sitting down and just reading the script.
Because the reason why I brought this up,
Yeah.
I was watching it Expeditiously with T.I.
Okay. Yeah.
And T.I. said he had got cast for a movie.
Yeah.
And in the movie, I think it was like Morgan Freeman, I think like Brad Pitt or somebody was also in it. It was like a major star-studded cast.
Right.
And his agent hit him up like he got the role for the movie. He don't have to audition. But tomorrow they need him at the table read. And T.I. was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. Da-da-da-da. He was like, man, if Morgan Freeman going to make the read and all these superstars going to make the read, you got to make the read.
Absolutely. That's the lifestyle.
So T.I. was like, man, he ain't take it seriously. So, that night he out partying, he drinking.
Yep.
And so then he was like, man, he on the sprinter on his way to the read. And I guess he decided to pop a perk or something.
Yeah.
And he ain't feeling nothing. Then he get to the read.
Yeah.
And he knocked out in the read. And he said Morgan Freeman chastised him. like, son, is there a problem? Cussed him out, went off on him, pretty much saying he looking bad. And then the agent got an email the next day like Morgan Freeman refused to work with him. Took him out the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about actors, man, they take it seriously. One thing about filmmakers, they take it seriously. You know,
Gotcha.
Especially when you're doing it on a certain scale, like Morgan Freeman, man. They take it real seriously, so they don't play about that.
Okay. So let's get to the journey, man.
Okay.
Dallas, Texas, born and raised, man. I know y'all very, very, very territorial. So what side you from?
Holly Hills.
Holly Hill. Okay, from the cliff.
Huh? Yeah.
From the cliff. Okay, that's what's up, man. Like, so tell me your upbringing, like, about Mr. E. Like, what was it like for you growing up?
Growing up, my pops was there in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, like most marriages, you know, they end up splitting up. My mama was a single mother, you know, and just trying to raise us. And I wouldn't even lie, like we had a decent upbringing, but of course my mama got broke, and we had to move on down. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, she did the best she could.
Gotcha.
You feel me? And meanwhile, me and my little brother, we tried to stay out of trouble as much as we could. But then, you know, we end up getting in some trouble, getting in the system, going to jail, going to juvenile, going to boot camp. And then it kind of got, you know, it kind of went up from there. But overall, it worked out.
So when you say in trouble, like what were some of the things that you and your brother got in trouble for?
The first charge we caught was a burglary charge.
Okay.
And I ended up pleading, you know, did a little juvenile, then did a little probation. I made it through my probation.
Gotcha.
My little brother, he make it through his probation. And it went from that to years in juvenile to, you know what I'm saying? I think he spent most of his life locked up.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Got you. So, like, who introduced that lifestyle? Because, I mean, most kids just don't stumble into burglary and things of that nature. So, what kind of led y'all down that path?
Playing too much. You know, like, I mean, just, you know, being with the wrong group of kids, being with the wrong group of wanting to fit in with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, back then, gangbanging was real popular.
Right.
You know, so we was on some, yeah, Holly Hills, AJ1, yeah, AJP 214 Crip Gang, you know what I'm saying, 30 and SCOG, you know, we banging hard and, you know, and all that little type stuff. But, you know, it's only a matter of time before some people around you ain't as smart as you and get you caught up.
Gotcha.
That's what happened with us.
Like, being that your little brother kind of stayed in the system, did you ever kind of feel like took that on yourself? Like, damn, man, I led him the wrong way.
Nah, not really led him the wrong way. I used to always teach my little brother, like, make sure you do your homework.
Got you.
When you, you know, if you do something, you know what I'm saying, like, be smarter than whoever could catch you.
For sure.
But he got caught doing everything.
With being in Texas, I know Texas football is God here.
Yeah.
Sports is God here. Mm-hmm. But I also came across a lot of people who wasn't interested in sports. So prior to like music and just getting into entertainment, like what was your passion?
I had hooped my freshman year.
Okay.
That shit didn't last long. It didn't last long because I was also trying to rap.
Gotcha.
I was also trying to rap and do music and all that type of stuff. So I ended up choosing, and I chose the music rap.
Got you. I got you. So like, what about hip hop inspired you to do it? Because I know you listen to a lot of people around, you know, saying that you grew up around that inspired you, that you like. But what made you yourself decide to, you know, approach that lane?
Me and my little brother, we always used to freestyle.
Okay.
We always would freestyle, and man, no matter what was going on, we could always attract a crowd. So shit, you know, we used to freestyle, beat on the desk, and man, and we used to kind of crank it up before crunk even was even word. We say, man, let's crank that bitch up, and we be beating loud and freestyle. Before you know it was a crowd, and that's just kind of like the era we came from. If you didn't play sports, then you freestyle.
Gotcha.
Not just rap, you freestyle. So that's the era we kind of came from.
Got you. So then you jump into the music lane.
Right.
What was the aha moment to say, you know what, I'm actually good enough to try to actually pursue this professionally?
I had a little rap group at my school, Wilma Hutchins, called 187 Crime Family. That's crazy because some people gonna be watching this video and be like, damn, I remember that shit. We had this little group called 187 Crime Family.
Okay.
And we did this song, and the song was just like all over the school. and it was a line of niggas and females that was like just wanting to hear the song. Back then, we had CD players with Walkman. See, now I'm exposing my age. I wasn't trying to do that.
Hey man, that's generation 2, so it's all good.
Yeah, man. You know, we had CD player with Walkman, and so you know everybody wanted to hear it. And we was like, okay, we can do that. You know, we walking around. You know, our nuts is heavy now.
Yeah.
Now our chest out. So we was like, yo, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay, so then you into the music thing,
Yeah.
and you move forward with that. But then you also start working with some of the major, you know, say heavy hitters around the city. Yeah. I know you talked about Don Chief to me off camera. Like, man, what was your relationship with Chief, and how did you work with Chief back in those days?
So by then I was still rapping, but I was also a producer.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of what really gave me the momentum because we didn't have nobody to make our beats. So I made our beats for us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And man, for the time, for me to be so young, like, you know, it was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So
what system you was using to make beats? Was you?
Man, that's a good question.
Was you Fruity Loops? Was you on MPCs? Like what? I'm trying to see how far back you was.
I would say FL Studio.
Okay.
Wasn't gonna come for 10 years when I was making beats.
Ah man, so you was for real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, what I was making beats on was they had a keyboard called the XP80.
Okay.
Roland XP80 and then
Triton. Yeah.
Triton and the MPC.
Got you.
And what we would have to do was take these floppy disks
put it
and
in
sample the sounds that we want and filter. And what's so crazy is one of my biggest records still got sound from way back in that day that's just been filtered. So, yeah.
Which do you like better? Do you like the more analog keyboard, the floppy disk, MPC type of style, or do you like more the digital phase?
Man, that's a good question. So I'm gonna tell you like this. For sounds, I like the digital because the sounds are so much more high quality, right?
Okay.
But when it comes to like your drum section or your rhythm section, was a big deal back in the day, like your drums, your 808s and all that, definitely. It ain't no question like MPC. It ain't even close.
Got you.
It ain't even close. MPC, SP1200. Back then we had the it was another little machine that everybody used. But them analog drums, boy, they hit real hard without you having to do anything to them.
Got you. Mm-hmm. So then you're on the production side.
Yeah.
And so was it the production itself that won over Chief that allowed you to start building that relationship with Chief? So
That's
how
all
y'all meet?
It was just the production.
So how were y'all able to, like, do you remember the first time y'all like actually met and on some production type of?
Yeah, me and Chief met through a nigga named KZ, and Chief used to come to the studio that I went to. But what happened is I was making beats for KZ, and Chief, you know, he was like, man, I gotta get that cat. So the bottom line is, the first time I heard Chief, he had this real squeaky voice, and he was with Pimpster at the time.
Gotcha.
And I'm talking about he was jamming. So when we kind of connect, we kind of fan of each other. So Chief, being Chief, you know, I was like, man, I'm gonna give you some CD, you know, a CD with some beats on it, and then you just kind of tell me which ones you messing with. You know, back in the day, like I charged for all my beats. It's a different day and age because now, you know, to get on, you gotta give free beats.
Yeah.
And I charged for all my beats, like 17, 18 years old.
Okay.
So the bottom line is he took the CD, went to the studio, looped all of them bitches. and then recorded. Now I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But when I found out about it, I'm like, hey man, what's up? And then he rolled down on me, and I'm thinking he gonna come with an apology or something. But he had dropped me out some bread, like I just needed to get it out. You know what I'm saying? So the nigga dropped me out some bread, but then he wanted some more beats. Right then.
So when you was giving on the beat CD, it was really a sample disc. It was like
it was supposed to be a sample disc. He got all the way down. West Dallas fashion. Shout out to bro.
Oh man. He had no transitions other than the engineered pauses in the beat. So it was just the same all the way through, the same loop.
Oh, he didn't give a damn. Yeah. All he knew is that it was some my beats and he finna rock them all.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Don Chief, who else was some of the favorite people that you had a chance to like produce and work with in the city?
I enjoy working with T Cash. I enjoy working with Dero. I did some work with my partner Ricochet. Shout out to him. I think I did some stuff with Bocane, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I did some with Bocane. Man, everybody, it's too many people to name. I know I'm gonna leave somebody out. But at the time when we had our movement, I pretty much worked with everybody. Then I got a chance to work with E4. I got a chance to work with Young Gotti. Did some stuff with Ross. And so
that's hard.
Just working.
So like, if you were to go through your discography,
yeah,
and the songs that you produced or recorded, which would you say will be the one that was kind of like your cream of the crop, the one that rose to the top?
I would have to say Triple D Anthem.
Okay.
A record called Triple D Anthem with me, Don Chief,
Okay.
The Row Music, and Bebe.
Got you.
You know, shout out to all of them.
What year did Triple D Anthem come out?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 2012.
12.
If I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. I think it was 2012.
I'm trying to. That sound familiar. I'm gonna have to go check that out. It sound familiar.
Yeah, man.
Because 2012 was probably the year I actually started getting more so into the music. I was here 2 years, but I had left to go back to try to do football again.
Right.
And then I came back in 2012. That's when I linked with Say Cheese and and all my music equipment that I had with me. That's what my cousin and Say Cheese and Sean Cotton put in their studio. And that's how I ended up meeting them over that way.
Okay.
So that sounds familiar though.
Yeah, it had Tay on there. It was a singing hook, and I'm gonna stay Triple D. You know.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story real quick if you don't mind.
No, go
so
ahead.
the way I just sung it, I was trying to pitch it to other artists, trying to get them to bite on it. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get them, and you know, just as raggedy as I just sound, you know, I sound that same raggedy to them. So they was like, we ain't fucking with it, man. And it just so happened that, man, a week later, getting Chief on the record, getting the Row on the record, Baby on the record, and it was on the radio the next week.
Got you.
So, yeah, that was kind of funny.
So being so heavy in music, at what point did you actually get into film? Because, you know, music, usually when people have passion for music, I mean, I guess when you're an artist, when you got a passion for entertainment, period, it's not hard to try to transcend lanes. But to go from a curator of music and production to jumping over to film, like what made you jump that lane?
I was working on that very song and some more songs. You know, I was working with a music video director. His name was Warren Silas at the time. He was doing videos for Trey Lee and them. And so I was helping him write treatments for videos. And he finally came to me and just said, hey, man, I want to do a movie. And he was like, man, I want to do a little movie, submit it to a film festival. And it's just, the way he was doing it kind of sounded like a science project.
Gotcha.
And I was like, shit, nah, we're going to do a movie. We're going to get paid. We're going to do it for real. So he was like, man, you know, I can't do it without you. So, you know, we sat on my floor downtown. I had an apartment downtown. We sat on the floor. We kind of worked out the script. About a year later, we put the movie out, and we did a lot better than we thought it was going to do. So that's when I decided, okay, yeah, I want to do a film.
So I remember Triple D Revenge coming out because like y'all had like a big premiere. What was the premiere?
The Triple D movie.
It was Triple D movie.
No, I got you, though.
What was the premiere at? Was it Grenada? It was somewhere.
It was actually at Magnolia Theater.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't nobody yet, so I didn't get invited. But I remember, like, you know,
Come on.
it's cool, man.
We invited
you know,
the city, man. Don't do that.
you know, hopefully, you know, I get to stunt a little bit, get my clout up if I can get invited to the Triple D Revenge launch. You know what I'm saying?
Man, now you're gonna have a all access media pass badge and all that.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I'll be just satisfied. Just reserved for mogul media. That's all I need. Even if it's just standing up against the wall with a sign that say reserved for media, I'm good.
You got action. Let's see what you capture this interview, and then we'll decide from there.
For sure.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you now.
What can you break down? Okay, so let's go back. So you get with your man's. What was his name one more time?
Chief?
No, to do the
Warren
movie.
Silas.
Okay, so you get with him, y'all start doing the movie.
Yeah.
Can you break down when you get into that phase? What's the difference between a director of a movie and a producer of a movie?
That's a good question. Some would say that I was doing a lot of direction during that movie, but I had agreed with him that I would let him have the director's chair.
Okay.
So I was cool with that. I gave him the director's chair. A producer is usually somebody that provides a special resource for the movie.
Okay.
And they also facilitate the movie, and it's usually the producers that got the vision to begin with.
Okay.
So you got a producer, and a lot of times they will go out and hire a director and hire a cast and hire a crew. Well, they'll cast and then they'll hire a crew, and it's usually the producers are usually the ones with the vision. A lot of people don't. A lot of people think that the director is bigger than the producer, and that's never the case.
Okay. So pretty much the producer is the person who, hey, either somebody brought a script or they develop a script. They got an idea for this movie.
Yeah,
and now I'm looking for a director to take my vision
right.
and get it on camera.
Right. The producer's the belief system. They the ones that say, you know what, I think this could go.
Okay.
So they just start building the infrastructure.
I got you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then now we're coming up. Triple D Revenge is on the way.
Yeah.
If you can compare that to the first one, because a lot of people say sometimes sequels don't be as good as the prequel or the first one.
Right.
Like, how do you, are you in the editing phase right now of
I'm
it?
in the editing phase.
Like going through the editing phase right now, do you feel like it's going to hold its weight to the first one? And what can people expect from it?
Oh, man, in my opinion, I think it's power packed. I think it's activated. I think it's a fold. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's something that the consumer, the city, the state, that's something that the fans will have to decide.
Got you.
But in my opinion, it's way better than the first one.
With Mo3 passing away, were y'all finished with production? Because I know in the interview I did with Rainwater, I know the night or the day of that he passed, he was on his way to shoot a movie. So I don't know if it was shooting for y'all.
Yeah, it was my film.
Okay.
That was my film. Did he finish? The best way I can put it is he did everything that was necessary.
Okay.
He did everything that was necessary. And I don't know what it was, but something told me to go ahead and, get a lot of his scenes out the way. Of course, I ain't had no way of knowing that what happened was going to happen, but just something told me, man, make sure and I'm glad because we want to leave him a legacy and we want to do it in his name. So
for sure.
It worked out.
So like hearing with the passing of Mo3, immediately, so like what kind of goes through your mind? And then in the editing room, is there anything that you're having to do different now that he's passing? Like, is there any improvising that you have to do with the movie because of his passing?
Not really, to be honest with you. Not really. Slightly, but not really. Again, he did majority of what he needed to do.
Okay.
But it affected the cast and the crew just like it affected the city. But with him showing up on set every week or 2 or 3 times in a week, it affected everybody. So from that standpoint, yeah, it affected us a lot. But as far as the film is concerned, like he came through and he did his thing. So
how long were y'all shooting before y'all got to the point y'all are now, or are y'all still kind of shooting right now?
We literally have one more day of some pickup shots that we just pop in there. We just got a little bit more. But the bottom line is, we were supposed to do 17 days of shooting. Okay. And I think we're on day 31.
Okay, so y'all over budget.
Oh. I mean, you know what? The crazy thing about it is, man, the whole thing happened. It was a miracle, the whole thing. We've been over budget since we started. Okay.
So, like, current topics right now, with, everything is going crazy.
Yeah.
Some will argue that hip hop is one of the most dangerous jobs in entertainment right now.
Easy.
Some people say hip hop is self-imposed danger based on the type of hip hop you choose to do. Because there's some people in hip hop that don't like Kanye and them not running around worried about all the stuff that some people who got their foot in the streets and foot in music.
Right.
Unfortunately, as you've seen recently, YFN Lucci had to turn himself on a alleged murder charge.
Right.
And so hip hop, you seeing, is getting more progressively dangerous to most.
Right.
But people are now having the tendency to blame a lot of stuff on the blogs.
Right. Okay.
How impactful do you think blogs are into contributing to the negativity and the messiness and the dangerousness of hip hop?
Extremely impactful. Sometimes it's the artist. Sometimes it's the blog. Sometimes it's the way a blog will put a magnifying glass on something that an artist will say or the artist will do. You know, I look at blogs like lawyers.
Okay.
They have the ability to either make you look innocent or guilty to the public, you know? If you're a good blogger, you can always bend rules. Now, if you're just fabricating something out of thin air, then obviously you're not a good blog, because a media source is about accuracy and something that people can depend on.
Absolutely.
But, you know, blogs have a lot of power when it comes to the way the public see an artist or an entertainer.
Gotcha.
In my opinion.
So, because I put more to blame on the artist
Okay.
than I do the blog.
Okay.
The job of a blog is to simply report on public figures and public topics.
Right.
If you're an artist, you are a public figure.
Right.
I don't care how much you want to scream, I'm a real street nigga.
Yeah.
The moment you became an artist, you are a public figure. So the moment you allow your street shit to hit the internet, it's fair game.
It's fair game.
And people like, oh man, the blog acting like police. No, fam, you're being sloppy with whatever you're doing in the streets that it can get to the internet for people to digest.
That makes perfect sense. So let me say that. That's what a good blog is supposed to do.
Right.
Now, what you got to ask yourself is, every blogger abiding by that? Like, is every blogger really got that same principle?
They don't. But my whole thing is, if you're an artist and you don't let any of your business get to the internet, it is nothing for, unless you just have a blog, simply just creating something out of thin air.
Right.
But if you are doing things that allow your business, your street shit to get to the internet, you're leaving your image up to the integrity of a blog. And that's your fault, because you have the control to keep the integrity of your content to yourself without letting it leak. I don't get mad at blogs. Like, people like blogs are snitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ain't never believed in that rhetoric. The only way a blogger can know what's going on with you is if there was a leak or another source.
Fact.
So I ain't never believed in that. The only thing that I know is that you got bloggers that are objectional and they practical in their approach, and they don't choose sides. But then you got some bloggers that they choose to lean towards this side or lean towards this side. Sometimes, you know, it's not about saying this person is innocent or this person is guilty. Sometimes it's about painting a picture that person is guilty. Because you got authorities like feds and all them that look at blogs now. They look at blogs, they listen to records and all that. So sometimes that has an effect on a person's well-being or whether they locked up or not. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's about an individual. If you as a man or you as a person, if you decide to have some character, then you're going to bring good character into blogging, and you're going to make sure that you're objectionable. Now, if that artist saying, well, you snitching and all that, I wouldn't even worry about that, because that don't make sense.
I mean, I hear you. I guess for me, like, if I'm cool with somebody,
right.
Because it'd be crazy, like the type of emails I get, and I'm not really a blogger that be trying to expose people.
Right.
My integrity is, I don't want to talk. That's not my lane. I'm not a blog that's a mess. I'm not a interview program or platform that's a mess. So I don't care about exposing nobody. This won't work for me.
Yeah.
I'll pass. That's just my integrity.
Straight up.
But there are blogs out here, you know, Shade Room, Real Tune, things of that nature. They got that Wendy Williams lane. They like salacious, you know what I'm saying, material.
Names.
No, but I'm just saying,
right.
That's just what it is. That's what they do. Like Tune, my guy.
Yeah.
But he is called the most hated. He called himself the most hated blogger in Texas.
So since you brought up Tune, I want to say this about Tune. So I never met him, never been introduced to him. Mm-hmm. Don't really know him from a can of paint, other than two things. The one thing that I noticed is that people been saying that he's one of the most hated bloggers. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I noticed. Another thing I noticed is I had a chance to go on Clubhouse
and
listen to him talk.
Okay.
Now, for the hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours that I listened to this dude talk and mediate arguments, what I discovered is he likes mess, like bloggers do, but I never really heard him say anything that wasn't objectionable. Like, I was really listening to him, and he's an intelligent being.
He's a teacher during the day.
Well, I ain't surprised, because he had a very objectionable standpoint to everything that he said. So, I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, but everybody know Tune, his style is more so the beef, so he that's his style, and that's his lane. It's not my lane.
Yeah.
I don't knock it. I just hope that he continue to be safe, because that's a
that water could get deep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell him all the time, it's like, bro, you throwing fire on the gas, you throwing gasoline on the fire, but sometimes that gasoline can get on your hand and that fire burn you, jump on you too. So hopefully he keep it at a point where, like you said, it is objective. It's in a place where people can tell their own side of the story, but that's just not my style of blogging, but that's his style. And people, I don't care what nobody say, entertainment people love drama. Nobody want to hear good stories all day.
They love drama. And this is the era where everybody want to get clickbaits and they want to get traction, numbers. They want to run the numbers up.
Yeah, I'm thinking of clickbait right now. Like, I'm like thinking of, like, Mr. E say, real team, whole ass nigga.
Gone. But I'm going to tell you though, the difference is now, this is the way I am. Can we talk real?
No, talk real.
This is the way I am. If you take something that I said and I actually said it, ain't nothing I can do about it.
That's fair.
But now, if you fabricate something, I'm going to challenge you on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to challenge you on that. I was having this discussion about, you did an interview with Chief.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember the name of the show, the name of that particular episode, but you said something to the effect of, Mo3 is a legend, but I'm in the lane of my own. It was something to that effect. Yeah. Don't quote me.
That's pretty close.
But the bottom line is that one word, but, makes a difference. And he didn't say that. So, I said.
Technically, first I said name some legends.
Yeah, I remember that interview.
If you can, because he was like, you don't name yourself a legend. The streets name you a legend. Cool.
Yeah.
So since you're a legend, who would be some that's in your lane? He said, I'm in the lane of my own. Then he got to Mo3. And he's like, but there is only one other one, but he did. And then I was like, that's Mo3. So first he did say, I'm in the lane. But
he didn't say it the way you phrased it. But I wasn't tripping because I know the game. Me and him talked about it. So I know the game. So I said, I know the object is to take the most suspicious thing that somebody say and make it the title so that way you can get the traction. And so it's cool. It's just that there's a difference between when you take a quote word for word and when you take a quote and you kind of shape it to what you want it to be, because technically it ain't 100%
Technically, he
true.
said, I'm in the lane of my own.
Yeah, he did. He said he in the lane of his own.
And he said, but Mo3 was one that was on his way. And I was like, so since Mo3 died.
Yeah, but that's not what the title was.
Because the only thing I put Mo3 first. But technically, he said, I'm in the lane of my own first.
Yeah.
But Mo3 was on his way.
That makes a difference. That makes a difference.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think it's all fact.
Go look at the comments and it'll tell you. You can tell.
But if you read the clip, you will see that it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was no fabrication. It's all about perception.
Man, you know what? I'm just messing with you because I always say, man.
But you know what's funny? Me and Chief had a conversation after that. He
said,
hey, man, I ain't going to talk about our conversation. I was like, nah, man, you bigged up Mo3. Like, you ain't.
He did. He
bigged up.
And I was surprised. Because him and Mo3, they kind of had a love-hate relationship.
Gotcha.
So, you just never know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth. So when he said, he was on his way to be a legend, like, I felt like not only was it true, but it was real because, that take a big man to say that.
For sure.
That take a big man to say that. So, yeah. But that's neither here nor there.
So let's see if we end off on agreeing on something with the blog. So
let's go for it.
So number one, whose fault is it more now? Is it still more the blog's fault or the rapper fault? If you can lean towards.
Okay, so let me say this. The only thing that we didn't agree on was mainly the caption thing. What I'm saying is that varies by the situation because you got some bullshit bloggers and you got some bullshit artists. The problem with a lot of these artists is they not really taught the business. And we don't have time to give them a crash course. But then it's the same thing with bloggers. Back in the day, bloggers took pride in following an artist from the beginning stages, all the way up to covering that artist all the way till they get where they're going, and having pride of being accurate and having pride in standing in the test. Like if you challenge a blogger, they gonna like with Sean, he's just the type of blogger where if you challenge him on anything that he say, then he's willing to go with you on that from a logical standpoint. And I can give it to some. He got some old-fashioned values. Some of them. You know what I'm saying?
And I think for him, it's the evolution, it's involvement, it's bumping your head.
He did evolve. Because he used to be with some bullshit sometimes. But shout out to Son Cotton.
But you can do if you can survive it. If you can start enough fires without getting yourself burned.
There it is.
To build your fan base and then be like, all right, now I can just mellow out because I got, like I say, Cheese, arguably one of the biggest hip hop platforms in the country.
Yeah, and not only that, but what I have to salute Sean for is he saw a vision, and he never let nobody knock him off his pivot.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to give it to him on that. I actually watched him grow from the beginning stages all the way to where he is right now. So, man, shout out Sean Cotton, Say Cheese. They really did their thing.
So with Triple D Revenge, is there a release date yet or a soft release date? Can I get it exclusive?
Yeah, you can get it exclusive. Tentatively, it's going to be spring or summer. And I haven't told nobody that. So, yeah, you definitely got exclusive on that.
Okay, cool.
I put you through the fire, so I owe it to you.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Yo, man.
Other than Triple D Revenge, are there any other movies, projects, anything that's in the pipeline for you after that?
The next film, which I'm working on a romantic comedy. I want to take a little different approach and deal with relationships and our culture and black people, the way we deal with relationships in 2021.
So you about to get your Tyler Perry on?
Yeah, I'm going there.
Hey, for sure.
Because you know what they have people have a tendency to think, all he can do is hood movies, gangster movies. So we're gonna show him something right fast.
For sure, man. Well, hey, Mr. E, man, I appreciate you sitting down with me, man. Triple D Revenge, man. I'm looking for my reservation spot, even if it's just for Mogo on the wall. I'm there, man.
Man, Triple D Revenge. Shout out to the cast and the crew. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole team, man. I tell everybody I don't deserve them. Man, y'all get some interviews with them. Get some interviews with the cast, man.
In fact, I was supposed to have what was his name? We had to reschedule. Yeah, the other with the dreads.
Okay, you talking about Official Watson?
Yeah,
Project Watson.
Official Watson. Yeah, I had one set up with him, but hope his daughter's doing better. But we had to reschedule. Yeah. She got said we was supposed to do it last Saturday.
Okay.
On Monday.
Yeah. So get some interviews with them, man. And also, again, man, long live Mo3 and long live Dip, DJ Dip. He was one of the cast members of the original cast members, and he was supposed to be in Triple D Revenge, but he lost a battle to COVID. You know what I'm saying? So, rest in peace to my boy Dip. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Dallas done had a lot of fallen soldiers.
For sure.
We got to make this shit make sense. We got to make it count.
All right, well, Mr. E, man, we're going to sit down again, man, and I'm going to come audition for one of the movies.
Come on with it.
All right, for sure, man. Be safe.